What's going on, guys? So we got the beef ribs right here. We got the Dino Ribs, and I just wanted to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? I think it'll be a good time to go ahead and use this thing right here that Pitball sent us, the Lone Star beef and brisket. We'll see how it goes. Now, we made a video on the kamado. I don't know if we've uploaded the video or not, but we got a ton and a ton of bark. So the goal today is to go ahead and get as much bark as we can on the 1150. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna go ahead and give it a shot, okay, guys? All right. So first things first. On the kamado, I left this membrane alone. The only thing that I did was I made a slit right here, right in between the bones. And the reason behind it is that, and I tested this out myself with when we did on the kamado. If we haven't uploaded the video, we'll try and go ahead and do that as soon as possible. But anyways, the ribs didn't shrink down and fall apart, right? They didn't do that because the membrane was still on. We just made these slits, and that was it. I don't think we're gonna season this bottom portion. Maybe just a little bit in here through the slits, but not a whole lot. But back to this. All right, so we got a bunch of fat here and a lot of silver skin. So let's go ahead and get rid of most of this stuff. So as I was saying, guys, the kamado made, the what's it called? The bark was just incredible on it. And it didn't even take that long to go ahead and develop that bark. So I said, you know what? Let's see if the 1150 can do it. On the kamado, I made it, I think it was around 250 degrees, if I remember correctly. So just regular temperature. But on this 1150, we are going to go with a very low and slow cook. All right. I'm going to have to cut some of this meat off just so that we can keep it a little bit aerodynamic. There we go. I'm going to cut this little piece off. There we go. So that's done. Let's get rid of the silver skin right here. We don't want any of this stuff. That's the goal, like I said, guys, is to go ahead and create that bark. I know I'm saying it a lot, but when I got that bark on the kamado, I don't know what else to say, guys. It was amazing. It was fantastic. So
yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
That bark.
Yeah, it was great.
And pretty tasty.
And it looked black as hell. A lot, we posted those picture up about the bark and the people that aren't. I don't know why, but a lot of the guys from the kamado groups, from the kamado Facebook groups, some of them don't even know what a bark is. Some of them were telling me, "Hey man, why is it burnt? It's not burnt, bro. It's not." Why is it so dark like that? I understand the bark, bro. Once you get that taste of real bark, you know what I'm talking about at that point. So if you can see here in the meat, it kind of goes down and up. I don't want to get rid of too much of the meat. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of oak wood that we have, and we're going to put it like this so that any drippings that come off will automatically fall off. I've noticed that when it pulls up, that part where the pooling goes into place, where it just stays pooling, doesn't develop the bark. All right, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're using the Pit Boss Lone Star beef and brisket rub. I had some issues with mailing the controller off to Pit Boss. My printer decided to take a dump on me, right? Didn't want to print the label, nothing. So they told me, hey man, contact FedEx and see what they can do for you. Okay, no problem, I contacted them. They said, yeah man, if you don't have a label, we can go ahead and just scan it directly from your phone to our controller, and we'll get it sent out that way. The problem with that was that we needed to go about 25 to 30 minutes away in order to do that. No problem. Okay, as long as it gets done. Got there, they couldn't scan it. I had to actually try and email it to them. They weren't picking up the emails. I don't know why, so I had to go into their computer system and do it that way. Huge pain in the rear. But once I told Pit Boss, hey, I sent the controller over, they went ahead and sent this, among other spices, over to us at no charge. Really good guys, you know. So, alright, we're going to let this dry brine overnight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. What's going on, guys? We got the 1150 going. She's smoking. Got the fire built up. Alright, let's go ahead and close it. There we go. It's about 7 a.m. It's pretty foggy out here, man. Well, we're going to go ahead and put the ribs. So give me 1 second so that I can go ahead and do that, alright? Alright, folks. So we're already in temp right now. Well, at least close to it. We are at about 160 or so. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, remember how I mentioned that I was going to let the meat just kind of like saddle down? Well, that's because we don't want any of those drippings to collect. So let's go ahead and do that. Put this there. Alright. Get these ribs on. There we go. Now the piece of wood might be a bit too much. Well, personally, I don't care as long as none of those drippings stay there. I'm trying to find a good balance here. Alright, guys. I'll touch base back with you guys in a bit. Alright, what's going on, guys? So, it's been about a little, I think, close to 2 hours. Actually, let's see. 2 hours and 6 minutes or so. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like. Still not a lot of bark. I removed the wood because it was just stretching the meat a bit too much. So, let's go ahead and spritz it, man. Let's check this out. Okay, let's go ahead and spritz it. Like I said, the goal for today is to develop that bark. You see what I mean about the pooling over here? With the Meter Plus, with the Kamado Joe, this thing was already dark as hell. So, I don't know. I don't want to give up on it. So let's go ahead and see what it does. Over here, this, okay. So, let's see what she does. We're still rolling at around 180 degrees. So we'll keep rolling like that. Later, guys. Alrighty, folks. So we are about 3.5 hours in. I kept messing with it because I started seeing on the Meter Plus that we were reaching 170 degrees. I'm like, wait a minute. There's no way that that's happening. There's no way. Right? So what I ended up doing is I put the rack on top and I put the meat in there and I put a water pan just below. Let's go ahead and take a look-see. I'm hoping for some bark, man. Okay. It's starting to get dark, not the way that I would want it, but I mean, it is what it is. But this is how I have it set up right now. So we'll just leave it there for now, and we'll see what we got. Now the Meter Plus is saying that we are in about 168 or so in the middle, and we are commanding 180 degrees. Sorry for all the wires. So that's what we got right there. And we'll go ahead and keep you posted until we get to the stall. I might not do a wrap at all. Remember, the goal here is to go ahead and get as much bark as possible. Now, I'm hoping we can go ahead and do that. If we don't get it this time around, I'm sure we can, start making some changes or whatever so that we can get it on the next cook. But this is the goal for today, at least. All right, we'll touch base with you guys here in a bit. Alrighty, folks. So we are at pretty much the 5-hour mark. Let's go ahead and take a look. See, I left it alone. I haven't spritzed it. Let's see what she looks like. It's getting darker. Still not the same bark as the Kamado, and we might not ever get that kind of bark on a pellet grill. But I'm gonna give it a shot, man. I'm gonna give it. Why not, right?
spritz it so it can collect a lot of that smoke. There you go. Oh, let's go ahead. It's already smoking up. Alrighty. So this thing, let's go ahead and track it. So this was when I was hitting the bone. At least that's what I'm assuming. After that, it's been at consistent 160 and some change. Alright, so we'll see what she does. I might end up having to turn it up to maybe 210 degrees and see what it does. For right now, I'm going to leave it as is. And if it's still in the 120 range, if it's still there and it doesn't rise up, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot it up for 220, 210, 220. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright folks, so we are about 6.5 hours in already. Let's go ahead and take a look, see. They are getting dark. So, yeah, I mean, it's getting dark. Not black the way that I want it, but I think one of the things that... Oh, there you go. Biker boys. Anyways, I hope you guys can ignore that. But I think one of the things that is happening is that with the spritzing, I think it's not letting the outside build that crust, right? It's not letting it build that crust. It's not letting it build that bark. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop spritzing at this point in time. Hopefully, maybe we can get something. You know, with the Kamado Joe, I did the same thing. You know, I would let the fire come up, wait until it's about like 100 degrees, 110 internal temperature, then start spritzing. I got a good bark by then. In this case, I'm not getting anything. Let's go ahead and take a look at it one more time. It's not as dark as I would want it, but it is what it is. See, this is the thing that I got to learn about the pellet grill, the 1150, is that there are certain things that you can and can't do to develop certain things. Now, I did watch a video from, I think it was Hot Barbecue, right? He didn't spritz the entire night that the brisket was in. He didn't do any of that. And the bark turned out fantastic. So, I don't know, maybe I should do that as well. You know, just let it run for about 6 hours. No spritzing, no nothing. Just let it go. The Kamado, on the other hand, I mean, you just treat it like a regular smoke and it just develops the bark all on its own. So, I think we still got another 2.5, maybe 3 hours to go. So, we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. We'll see you in a bit. What's going on, guys? So, we are close. We're about 7.5 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, now we're getting that bark. We should have done this from the beginning, but I kept spritzing, man. That was my mistake. All right, so I moved. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I moved the ribs here to the right-hand side and on this upper rack. I just wanted to get it a little bit more towards the smoke area. You know, you got the vapor coming up, coming this way, and I wanted to hit it right there without having to spritz anything. So anyways, we are starting to get a really good color. The internal temp right now is about 185 or so. It took a long time. Okay, so we're gonna keep. I'm not gonna wrap it. I'm gonna leave it as is, and we'll see what we can get. All right, guys. Oh, before I forget, the temperatures have been great. If I commend it, let me go ahead and close this. So basically, I started commanding. You know, I was at smoke mode, perfect. It held around, it held at around 180, no problem. The ambient temperature based off of the meter plus was around 165, 170, which is fine. So then I bumped it up to 210. Temperature was around the 210, 12 range or so. Then I bumped it up to 230, made 230. Right now I have it at 250 because, man, it's close to 8 hours. We're starting to get a little bit hungry. So, but everything's been great. We are at 185 degrees right now, so I didn't wrap it because, like I said, the goal for today is to try and get some bark. This thing right here ruined it. Shouldn't have spritzed. I should have spritzed later, not in the beginning. On the Kamado Joe, I can spritz after about 2 hours or so, and I get fantastic bark. But again, this is a pellet grill. It's different, but we'll touch base back with you guys once it's done. Alrighty, folks, 9 hours later, I'm starving. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, okay. Let's go. butter. Alright. Come over here, you. There we go. Sorry about this. There we go. Let's go to the table. It's not the greatest bark in the world, but it's something. I think I messed up on the spritzing this entire time. But let's go ahead and take it to ambient light and see what it does. We'll go ahead and rest it too.
Guys, so after 9 hours of smoking this thing, plus an extra hour and some change of it resting, so let's go ahead and see what we got. Still warm. Let's see what we got. Oh, hell yeah, look at this. Let me go ahead and grab the camera real quick. Okay, so the bark is decent. It's not 100% the way that I would like it, you know, because the darker the better for me, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let me go ahead and start slicing away. All right, guys, let's see what we got. Look at that, guys.
That's a nice color.
Oh, yeah. Look at the smoke ring right there.
Pretty juicy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Let's see if the other one cuts a lot softer, too, because this one was on the thicker end right here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So here you can see the bark. And that's what we were concentrating on the most, right? We were concentrating the most on the bark, and for the most part, it's pretty good. I think next time, you always want to hold these together, because the moment this thing sees a lot of air, it starts graying out on you. Anyways, so I think for next time, I'm not going to spritz at all until we actually get the color that we're looking for, and then we will do the spritz. I think that was my biggest mistake. It's a whole lot different than the Kamado Joe. The Kamado Joe, I start smoking it within, like 3 hours, I think. It's already getting dark. You spritz, you do everything normally, just like you normally would. It still starts creating bark. With a pellet smoker, it's completely different. You want it to form a bark first, right? I mean, you always want to build a bark first, regardless, right? Normally, spritzing on the Kamado doesn't really affect the bark. On the pellet smokers, they're very sensitive when it comes to that type of stuff. As soon as I stopped spritzing, it just started forming the bark. So lesson learned here, guys. If you guys want great bark, do not spritz until maybe halfway there. I want to say maybe, I don't know, I guess it really depends on the cook. But, I mean, look at this guy. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. It's still good bark, man. It's still great. I mean, I would prefer it a lot darker. But hey, that's what we do here. We try and experiment, see what works, what doesn't. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't spritz until we got up to, I don't know, the 4-hour range. Because I like a very dark crust, right? A bark. But let's see what the Pit Boss seasonings taste like. Let's go ahead and give it a go. Oh yeah, it's still hot.
How's it taste?
Okay. You can taste the pepper. There's some spices in there. There's some kick. So I'm assuming that it has like cayenne. But the biggest thing that you can taste out of this is definitely going to be that competition blend smoke. You can taste that right off the bat. Tastes really, really good. Bit pretty good too. I only took a small piece because it's still pretty hot. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for the day. Be sure to like and subscribe. I know this video is going to be, I don't know how long it's going to be, but It just felt forever making this video. Anyways, guys, like and subscribe, and I guess we'll see what we make next time. Later, guys.